So he placed a caveat on all the lands. So he now affected this guy. When the guy now went to register, they told him, no, there's a caveat on this land. You cannot register. This is land that he has finished selling. No. He cannot register it. Why? That the holder of title is late, and the successor of title have placed a caveat on the land that you cannot register. Okay? And then you have to see him. So he went to see him. He told him that he's not aware that his father sold this land. That his father cannot, in his right senses, sell it, because all these documents you are showing me, that the signature are forged, because I know my father's signature. How can you say he signed this thing? He just sold this. No, that it was like joke. Oh. The guy filed a suit in court against him for forceful entry into his landed property, stopped them from work, drove them away from the land. So, a young man of 30 years, it was by the grace of God that we didn't lose him. He just entered into that's his first estate. He entered into depression first. Started smoking and drinking heavily. Next thing, high blood pressure. And then next thing, they started saying one heart issue or the other. So he normally comes to Enugu to see me, because I remember when I was passing through some challenging times, he came to see me and gave me 5 million. So when that thing started happening to him, I heard it, I called him. So he came to Abuja. So I discussed with him. He explained everything to me. So I understood, if you are selling property to me and I'm checking your age and you are approaching 70 years, I will register that thing overnight. Even me, my father is a surveyor. My father deal on land just like me. Okay? If me and my father do business today, Monday morning I'll register it. Because I have 5 brothers. Because I have 5 brothers. 2 of them are also into land. So if anything happen now, they say the man will sleep, wake up. They will all come out, because that thing you think they know it too. My younger brother has PhD in land surveying, land administration. So Ben, I'm one of the realtors. He's also my younger brother, so they know it too. So even my own father, if I have land transaction with him, I will not allow it to pass 48 hours. I will file that application, even if I don't complete it. Let it be on record that the application has been put in place before anything happened. So I knew that the guy was naive. So I told him, okay, that we are going to help you. So I called some other, we raised money for him. We fund 80%. The ones that we are paying instrumentally, he told them that he will refund them instrumentally too. So their own is 1 year installment. So after some time, he was able to refund. He now came back to his normal self, started sleeping. He started even talking and all that. That's why I told you that if you are hit by this type of thing, it can take away the life of that person. And some people have gone to prison. Okay, let me tell you another story, so that I'll scare you further. I'm not a prophet of doom, okay? Just like Odumeje, I'm not a preacher of love, okay? So there's a lady who is my friend. We grew up in Enugu together. So I don't want to mention the name, because if I mention her name, half of you here knows her family, because her family is a very popular family in Enugu. But she's in prison now. She's in prison. So let me finish this story so that your eye will open. So in Abuja, she was working with a microfinance bank. She was working with a microfinance bank, and then one guy, a customer, came, told her, okay, I'm a developer. I have done this estate. She said, okay. she should help them profile customers who have money in their account so that they can market them to buy their estate. So my sister saw it as an opportunity. She's a banker, so she has marketing skills. So she profiled them and then got them to be paying. But where she made the mistake was that she now got them to be paying to her account, not to the guy. So she was now, because she got that thing at a certain price and mark up some money on it, so she had to be receiving it before remitting to the developer a certain amount. Okay? So, but she doesn't know that, because she didn't verify, search the title. Because you have to go, make an inquiry. Whose name is this property? If this realtor or this developer, you go and see that this property is not in the registry, this property is not in his name or his company name or his father's name. Even if, so you can't trust that one. Then you have to ask him to provide documents to show his own locus on the land. Either a document transferring the land to him, or a document of transaction of payment, maybe instrumental payment that maybe within 1 year of payment, the land will be transferred to him. She doesn't know those things because she's just a banker. She's not a land person. But the truth is that that guy doesn't hold the title, but he is in joint venture with the holder of the title. You know what is joint venture? I have my land, you have your money. You bring your money and develop my land, and we share the profit, or we share the plots. So now, he's a Yahoo developer. He doesn't have the funds. He depended on our sister to raise the funds. Depended on her marketing network to bring the off-takers to raise the funds. And then paraded to that man that he has the funds. There are people in this country who are hardened, who are destructive. If you are doing business with them, you have to put on serious security in place, because they don't care if you and your family perish. So with all these things going on the land, the man just leave them. He used the land, go collect money from bank. Because he has the title. He has the original CFO. The land is in his name. He collected money from the bank and left the country. And these people were still on the land, you know, making noise. So the bank now started expecting payments based on what they agreed. Payments was not coming. So the bank went now to go and check on the man. They don't see the man. They ask people, they say the man manage this thing. They look for the developer. They don't see him. Him too, because he's experienced, he's on ground. So he has already weighed, he has analyzed the situation of the crime. He found out that he cannot carry it. So he took off. So these people, the off-takers that paid those money, because they paid to her account, they form a cooperative society and started dealing with her. They took her to EFCC. EFCC charged her to court for obtaining under false pretense, and she was imprisoned. She was convicted in 2018, and she's still in the prison. She's in Kuje prison. Are we following? You see, when the Arible group wants you to learn this thing, it's not like it's not good enough to teach you how to capture buyers on Facebook and put do content and put sponsored ads, Instagram, Twitter, and all those things. That is not even the real cocoa. The real cocoa is understanding how these things work, so that you know what to sell and what not to sell. I was talking to a young realtor in my office, because the realtor said that There are people giving them 20%. He called one company. That company is very popular. I don't want to call them. I don't know whether you are one of them. Whether they will say defamation of character. That company, okay, by the time I finish, you will have an idea. They are in Port Harcourt, they are in Calabar, they are in Asaba, they are in Enugu, in Abakaliki, in Abuja, Lagos, everywhere. Up to today, where is the estate that they are built in Enugu? Physically. Where is it? Do you know what it takes for a developer to build one estate? It can take 4 years of your life to stabilize one estate. Developers in Lagos, they cannot be in Lagos and be in Abuja at the same time. Developers in Abuja, they can't be in Abuja and be in Lagos unless you are moving. And then when you have developed an estate, there are ancillary activities, and then there are passive income that come from that estate. So if you are a developer in Enugu and you have built estates in Enugu, you cannot move. That is, you cannot run away. So I was telling that realtor that as you see me like this now, I cannot run away from Enugu. Any trouble that comes my way in Enugu, I face it. Okay? If I sell you land and it has problem, I'll give you another land or give you the money. Even if you call police for me, if I get there, I'll tell police when I'll pay you. And I'll make sure I get the money and pay you back the money. And you are going to developers who don't have any structure on ground. They are only online. See, those people I'm talking about, you people know them. All the land they have in Enugu, they have never finished paying for any of them. They will come and take 20 hectares, pay 20% of the money, and beg you to put their signboard. Once they put their signboard, they use that signboard to do video, do advert, and then they go online. That's all. They will sell it off, Piam. They will sell all of it off, but they have never finished paying the owner of the land. And now, because, you know, some of us, forget that I am a professor. I'm a bona fide Ogbane Chago from Amechi Okunano. We have land. The land of Achale layout is our land. Uwani is our land. Maryland, Okunano, up to Gariki, Centenary is our land. Is our community land. Okay? All those people that are doing Ogbane Chago there, they are my brothers. And we are in contact with them. If police carry them, we'll come out and say, yes, it's us that sent them. Okay? So, I'm also on ground. I'm also part of the community. The communities, you think they are full. Just like what is happening in the Centenary now. All the that was happening many, many years ago. Eh? The people that... what I'm saying is that all those trouble, by the time they started that thing, they didn't know it would be troublesome. Because what community will do to you is that time you are giving them money, they will be your friend. It's a normal thing. They will be your friend because most of them are not working. They don't have profession. It is that land that is giving them money. Not like some of us who have what we are doing. So they depend on selling that land to survive. So when you are giving them money, they are your friends. But after some time, you are not accessible and you are not giving them money. Eh? Eh. So those people who sign that paper for you, those people, their younger brothers will form another land committee and sue their elder brothers to court that they did not authorize them to represent them. Therefore, everything they did is null and void. So they will be going to court against each other. You think they are fighting. They are not fighting. They know what they are doing. If they defeat them in court, they recover that land and share it. Yes, now. And it is you that came to put your money that will bear the brunt. So how community land is done is that it's like a madman's food. If the madman gives you food, you eat it while it's still hot. He can change his mind, take it back. So those people that go to community and give them 20 million and then come and put long signboard and say, heavenly estate, located in Ibagwanike. You'll be hearing it, or if you open Facebook, you see it 10 times everywhere. After maybe 4 years, you know that Nike people are not fools. They will come back and sell it again. So if you don't have, like, if you have not taken possession, like fence or built a substantive structure on ground to show your presence, you are not going to get the land. So who are going to suffer? The realtors. The realtors who market those land are going to suffer, because the realtors are the ones who have contact with the buyers directly. Because most of these buyers that buy online are not in Enugu. So it is you, the realtor, that they contact, and you go and do the transaction on their behalf. And then when there's problem, they will be on your neck. So sometimes this problem will accumulate to a level that a realtor will throw away his phone number, change phone, and run away from Enugu. They will now start saying, where is this person? Where is this? So there's a particular guy that called me yesterday. He called me through Facebook call. I was surprised. Facebook call. So I picked it. He said that he's already in Ghana, that he has a lot of issue, but I should not tell anybody where he is. That when he makes money, he will come back and settle the issue. He's a realtor that entered into trouble. So that is why we are teaching you these things. If you know it, you know, you see danger and apply caution. Okay? So key components of land administration. Land, go back. What is happening now? I've put confusion. Okay. Okay, sorry for confusing you. Most times when I speak, it sounds controversial because I don't know how to paint these things. I try to say it so that you know that you are entering into a delicate environment. Okay? So key components of land administration. We have land registration. So land registration, in Enugu, we call our own land registry. So in every country, every state, there's land registry. If you go to America, their land administration is at the county level. So for every county, there's land registry. Even if you go to London, there's land registry that is dated for more than 500 years and is still effective. So every government has land registry for land administration. And land registry is a record where land titles are written. So if my father gives me this property and I go and obtain governor's consent and pay the 5%, the registrar of land, there's an officer called registrar of land. So the person takes my document to land registry and enters that transaction at that date. Okay? So every land transaction is entered according to date. So when it enters the registry, they will give that document a registration number. They will stamp it on the document. So you normally submit 4 copies, and they give you back 2 copies. They keep 1 in the registry and 1 in the strong room. So all the land transactions that were done by the British people during the coal mining era in, let's say, 1918 or 1920. They are still there in the registry. Are we aware? That is why all the crown lands, all the coal mines, they still have their surveys and their registration numbers in those places. When I was commissioner, so Kanwanko had issue with one of his estates. So he came to me to tell me. So the issue that Kanwanko had with his partner was that they went to buy land from Ngo without knowing that that land is crown land. Crown land they are lands that during the British colonial era, those lands belonged to the Queen. And most cases, those lands are located where there are mineral resources, coal mines. So if you go to Ngo, there are a lot of crown lands. Some of them don't know they are living on the crown land. So Bureau of Public Enterprise is in charge of all the crown lands. So when they came to register, so the registry told them that this land is crown land. You cannot register it. It belongs to the Queen of England and by extension, the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So you cannot register it. So after they came and told me, so I explained to them the only way to go about it, which is that you have to go to the Bureau of Public Enterprise, apply for them to transfer the title. They will tell you how much you pay. You pay it and the title will be transferred to you before the registry can register it. So they did it and they solved the problem. But there are many lands that are crown lands that it's only in the land registry that you will see it, because those transactions were done 1918, 1921, so over 100 years ago. So if you come to the land, it's bush. The things that were done on the land 100 years ago cannot be seen. So the registry is the record where those things are kept. So even land transaction we are doing today is written in the registry. People that will come 100 years after us, that is the only place where they will go and they will see it. And the land registry is very powerful that before the eye of the law, that is the only thing that will prove your title, the land registry. So land titling is the issuance of formal ownership document. That is the transfer of the name, the bearer of the name on that land to another bearer. That is land titling. The cadastral system is the survey framework. It's called the geodetic framework of the state. So that is my own professional area. So for every land survey is tied to a point, a starting point. So that starting point is the cadastral system. So if you bring a survey plan, you will see coordinates on it. You see the north, the east, and the west. You see some grid on it. You see the name of the surveyor, his signature, and the date at which he did the survey. All those things are done in accordance with the cadastral system. So the cadastral system in Nigeria is different from the one in Ghana, is different from the one in America, and so on. But there is what we call the World Geographic Reference System, the WGS 84. So the World Geographic Reference System is a cadastral system that covers the whole world. That is why you can be here and see Google and see yourself, see your location on Google. And you can be on the same Google and see somebody in America. Okay? And then someone can send you a Google location, use it to locate yourself, because the world has adopted one cadastral system. So if you have upgraded or implemented a GIS to a certain level of the geodetic framework, then somebody in America can put in the coordinates of his land in Nigeria and see the location. So he doesn't need to carry flight, come down to Enugu, and then go to Nike to go and see the land. If you send him the Google location or coordinates, he can just enter it in Google, and Google will just show him the location where the land is. So he can actually inform himself to take an informed decision over buying the land. So that is the cadastral system. So it's a system of mapping and measuring land, so that that land will have a unique identifier of size and shape. So land, let's discuss land registration and titling process. It has stage by stage, okay? So you start by initial registration process by establishing formal land right. It has to have a survey plan. Next slide. A survey plan that will okay, measurement in square meters is part of it, but the cadastral is to precisely locate a land so that it will be so unambiguous and it will not conflict with another land. So the cadastral system is the location description of a land in its unique nature, because no land is a duplicate of another. Every land has a different location. So every land has its own coordinate, and each coordinate is unique. Okay? So this one, you are asking me to answer you now. Cadastral system. I took 5 years to read bachelor's degree, 3 years to read master's, 6 years to read PhD, another 6 years to become professor. So how many years will I take to teach you this one now? It's too big. You understand? It's too vast. But what I just said is enough for you to have an idea of what you are saying. So it's just a system of managing land, measuring land. Because before any land document is perfected, it must be referenced to a survey plan. That survey plan is strictly defining the size and the location of the land, the unique location on the earth surface. Okay? So let me tell you, give you an illustration. If there is a problem in cadastral system, if you chart this compound, it will enter 4 meters into the next compound. Okay? If you use the coordinate you measured on ground now and put it in a GPS, you see that this fence is actually 4 meters into the other compound. That is how you know that there is a conflict in the geodetic framework. That is the cadastral system. So it is not just the length and width, measuring the length. If you go to Nike, they will tell you 60 by 100. No, it's not enough. But location where it is fixed on the ground, that is the job of the cadastral system. Okay, so after the survey, then the ownership transfer. So the ownership transfer, there is a valuable consideration. Like I said, land is like human being. If you want to marry a woman, you pay a bride price. Okay? That bride price is not actually enough to buy the woman. It can just be 10,000 naira or 5,000 naira. Okay? But that bride price is a valuable consideration of transfer of title, because that woman, the surname of that woman is a title. It's changing from her father's name to another person's name. Okay? So if the marriage is dissolved, that bride price is returned. True or false? It must be returned for that marriage to be dissolved. So the same thing applies to land. Before land is transferred from one person to the other, it must be for a valuable consideration. So now, what is that valuable consideration? It can come in many ways. It can be love and affection. Maybe you love your wife, you give her one plot of land. It's not a promise you made on top of the bed, though. You have to put it in writing and sign. 2 of you will sign it before it becomes valid. So it will be written that it's given for a valuable consideration of love and affection, or a valuable consideration of 5 million naira, or a valuable consideration of 10 million naira, or for a valuable consideration of professional services of building road for us from so kilometer to so, it must be defined, the value at which that land is transferred. So if you get a land document, if you want to sell any land as a realtor, ask the person, the holder of the title, to give you the title document. Go and read it. Find out the tenure of that transfer, whether it is a lease of 40 years and 30 years has been spent. My office at number 15 Carter Street, that was the first office I had before I moved to WTC. So I bought it from one family. Those families, all the whole of Ogui and Asata were located by state government around 1920-something or 30-something. Camp, Ogui and Asata are the first places that were government formally developed for residential purpose. Okay? So all of them were located the same year, 1930-something. And they were given 50 years. Okay? They were given 50 years. So by the time I bought that property in 2012, it has expired many years, and I didn't know. And even the people who are selling it didn't know. I saw the place, saw the location, inspected it, I liked it. We talked price, concluded on price. They prepared the deed, everything. But I didn't see the original head list. So they prepared the deed, and then I asked them to give me the original. They said I must pay first. So I paid, and they gave me the original document. So for one reason or the other, I didn't go through it. I kept it. I was pursuing other things. So when I went to register it, so the land registry told me that the deed expired in 1980-something. So actually, that paper has no power. Actually, the land has reverted back to the state government already. So those people that sold it to me, they had no title at the time they are selling it to me. But because they inherited it from their father and they are occupying the land, so they believe that they had the title, okay? And they sold it. By that time, they've shared the money, so you cannot retrieve the money again. So I had to go and ask their first son to write an application to renew the deed, and they wrote it, and I had to pay additional almost, like, it's a property I bought like 10 million as at then, where I paid an additional 12 million to renew the title, to renew the title before we can now transfer the title, because you can't transfer it when it's already expired. So the person who holds the title have died. His successor in title will apply and renew it before that successor can transfer it. So it costed me more than the money I paid them, and then all the processes were completed. So I now got another C of O in my own name for 99 years. Okay? So, and if you don't know this thing, somebody will just come and say, buy this property. Especially all these old properties in Ogui and Asata, all of them have expired. Go and get the document and read it. Some of them that are, in fact, if the governor wants to be ruthless, he will eject all of them. He will just go and do search. He just demolish all of them and recover the property, because before the eye of the law, the title has reversed back to the state government. So those people selling land in Ogui and Asata, they don't have power to sell it. They only sell it because they feel that it was their father's property there, so they can sell it. So that is what we call the tenure of a title, okay? So that titling The process of titling is to grant you the legal ownership of the land. So if you go and buy property, like I said before, immediately they sign the deed, you keep it in your bedroom and go. You have paid for the land. You have gotten a document, which is ordinary paper. You don't have the title yet. The land have not been transferred until you go and register it in the land registry. That is when the title is conferred upon you as the owner of the land. Okay. The role of government agencies in land administration, okay? So the government of that jurisdiction has a monopoly for land registration. So there's no other place you can go to register land except under that government. That's why governor can make you poor within 48 hours, can make you rich within 48 hours. If you are doing business, you have this, you have that, you have a big farm, or maybe you have a big estate, the governor can say, okay, so that's where he's getting money to sponsor opposition. Okay? They can say, don't register anything here. So by the time they put that embargo, nobody will buy from you because nobody will come, nobody wants to buy anything with issue. You can even revoke it. You can even say, okay, we want to build a smart school there. After all, we are building it in other communities. Okay? But our governor is a merciful governor. And we are praying that God gives him wisdom to succeed in Jesus' name. Amen. So, these are the roles of government agencies. So the government is in charge of land registration, and there's an agency in charge of land registration. So that agency is called Deed Registry. It's under the Ministry of Land. Is an agency covering 3 sub-agencies. In some places, these 3 sub-agencies in Enugu that are under one agency, they are independent. In Lagos, the Office of Surveyor General is an agency standing on its own. The Registrar of Deed is standing on its own. And Urban and Regional Planning is standing on its own. In Abuja, it's the same thing. Abuja GIS is standing on its own, which is the land registry. Office of the Surveyor General of Abuja is standing on its own, which is the Director of Survey. Abuja Urban and Regional Planning and Development Control, they are standing on their own, and they have people who head them. But all of them are under the FCT minister, okay? So, in Enugu, we have the Office of Surveyor General, which is the government agency in charge of controlling all the land survey system in Enugu State. We have the Urban and Regional Planning, which have offices in every local government for application of building plan, building approval, fencing permits, layout approval, variation, and all these things. They go through Urban and Regional Planning, and they are in charge of development control to know what you are building and where you are building it. How are you building it? And are you sure you are approved to build it? Even if you are approved to build it, are you building according to what approval that is given to you? Okay? So that is the job of the Urban and Regional Planning. So it's called Planning Agency. The Office of Surveyor General of Enugu State is a survey and mapping agency. So the newly established Enugu Geographic Information System is Land Registration Agency. So these are the 3 major agencies that play a role in every government for land administration. Next slide. Okay, so some of the key challenges in land administration that face government. So some of these key challenges are the poor infrastructure, inefficiencies, lack of transparency, frequent disputes, and tech barriers. So poor infrastructure, we know that government develop infrastructure. This infrastructure depend on priority because the resources available in government coffers is not enough to finish all the infrastructural development. So there are deficiency in some areas when it comes to infrastructural development. There are areas you will go, they will plan out an area, people will be building housing, there will be no road. Some will build, there will be no electricity. They will go and pay, buy pole, buy wire, and draw the electricity by themselves. So all these things affect land administration in third world countries like ours, where resources are limited and where somehow government is not really fully in charge and in control of land development. Inefficiencies. So these inefficiencies are bureaucracies that are introduced by different governments, okay? Let me give you an example. Enugu Capital Territory is not supposed to exist where there is Department of Urban and Regional Planning because it is a duplicity of effort, duplicity of waste of resources, duplicity and conflict of interest within the same government. So before now, before Sullivan regime, Enugu Capital Territory was not existing. It was created by Sullivan regime because of the vision that the government had as at that time. Are we following? So they created it, but after achieving their vision, they cannot uncreate it. They cannot collapse it. Of course, it's possible to collapse Enugu Capital Territory with Enugu Town Planning Department, and they will become one agency, okay? But because of politics, there are people, there are principalities who are in control of Capital Territory, and they're back at Hashiri. Are we following? Yeah. And the Obrune back at Hashiri, man, when they query an oku. It will be a couple an oku. He got a war. Are we following? So governor can come and see, this challenge. But we are hoping towards election 2027. If you collapse this thing now, so people will get angry. They will go hanoku. So they will start fighting you. So instead of fighting now, let me just behave till after 2027 because I don't want to create chaos. Okay? So now, Enugu GIS has been created, but Ministry of Land is still existing. There's land registry in Ministry of Land. There's another land registry in Enugu GIS as we speak. The server of the land registry has been carried to GIS. There is surveyor, director of surveyor in GIS. There is surveyor general in the other side. Okay? So now it is now a problem of the institutional framework that the people who created Enugu GIS, they did not consider it when they were creating it. Because you cannot create two parallel agencies that do the same thing. And you are paying people, employing people. The problem is not even that. The problem is on the masses who are going to be exploited and be taken advantage of because all those people, all those agencies are still having powers. There is a commissioner in Ministry of Land, and there is a director general in Enugu GIS, and two of them are loggerhead. Do you get it now? So the onus lies on the government to weigh the options and find a middle ground on how to collapse and unite these agencies so it will remove the bottlenecks that the masses will face during the process of land titling. And then we that are the developers in the market, it will ease our business. That is what is called the ease of doing business. Every day they will do meeting. Say ease of doing business, this, They will write it. If you go to statistics, they'll publish it on media. Superstar, you are in the media, they will say, hey, Enugu has ease of doing business 75%. Do you really know what is the meaning of ease of doing business? Me, because I am both in the field as a surveyor, I am on ground as a developer, I am on ground as a Obane Chago, member of the community. I am on ground as an academician that knows the theoretical framework very well in the university. So some of us, when we observe these things, it gives us sleepless nights. The book of Psalms says that too much knowledge is sore travail. That is, if you know too much, you will suffer. You will be more worried. If you know too much, that is why fools live longer. Am I lying? Yes. But they will go out to Ogui Road, start drinking beer by 6 p.m. till 12 midnight. They will go home, sleep overnight, wake up, just having fun, because they don't know anything. But the more you know, the more worried you, the more you go to your bed, you will not sleep. So, government is interested in generating as much revenue as possible, and they are going to squeeze it out from you, the masses. So they cannot collapse those agencies. This one I say, don't delete it. Oh. Don't put me on social media. Oh. So the secret is that they will not collapse it. They will even create more, so that you pay more. You go to town planning, you pay. You go to capital territory, you pay. All of them the same building approval. On the site, capital territory people will come and collect money. Seize your workers, you pay. Town planning people will come from the town planning authority, you pay. All of them have powers. All of them have targets of how much they are going to generate. So that is what we are calling inefficiencies, bureaucracies, delays, the weaken legal protection of the masses who have come to do these things. Are we following? Lack of transparency, incomplete records enable corruption. I mean, corruption is not a new thing to us in Nigeria. People that occupy government positions, of course, you understand what I mean? Commissioner, if you are a commissioner, so from that place, you go to generate something for the person who is. Are you not aware? Yes. So the commissioner is bound to be generating something. So that is why there are certain things he has to do to cut corners and to do sharp practices, so that you, the realtor or the real estate developer who is coming to do business, the money you pay for the record and the money that you pay off record, it will now increase the cost of you practicing in the field. So those are one of the challenges we have in land administration: lack of transparency and corruption, frequent disputes due to unclear or overlapping land claims. So we have community disputes. It's peculiar with the southern part of Nigeria. If you go to the north, because of their homogeneous nature of land administration, they don't really have land disputes. But in the south, we own lands in families, and the families' interests vary. So most times they conflict due to the fact that in the olden days there were no accurate methods of measuring land. So if they say that there is one tree of Ogrishi, that is the boundary. So somebody can go after this year and cut the tree. So you will not have boundary again. So our boundary is not clear. It depends on who is stronger on the ground. There's an Igbo adage that said, "Ana azọ ana, onye jiji ana akọ." So if we are disputing land, the person who has farm, who can farm more, will be planting his yam, while the weaker person is just making noise. So that is how land was done in those days. So in the recent times, they all have survey plans, but those surveys are overlapping. And in a state where government does not have a stable land administration system, these conflicts are bound to ensue. And then if you go to court, you see a barrage of land litigation over all this land. So if you there's no community you go to in Enugu now that does not have land disputes. I hope you are aware. From Ugwaji to Amechi to Centenary, Ugogo Nike, Ibagwa Nike, Amoji Nike, Nekuno, all of them, Abo, Ohum, Ukana, everywhere, Night Mile, Mgo, all of them have land disputes, one small dispute or the other, and they are in court. Okay? Those disputes are because of our old survey system, where we have local origins that do not cover the whole Enugu. So you may have one local origin in Night Mile, and it's different from the one in Enugu town. Another one is in Abane, and it's different from the one in Nsukka. So when surveyors survey with those areas, those surveys start conflicting with each other, and over time, when you try to interpret the survey on ground, you see that there will be an overlap. And people go to court with all those things, not knowing that really it is administrative error. Tech barriers, okay? So now, I'm not a tech person, but I know that tech changes every day. So like Enugu GIS, what software are they using? What hardware are they using? What cyber security are they using? Can hackers enter their portal and change something in the system? Can hackers enter your land registry and download your land document and use it against you? So how secure is the tech? What is their tech framework? And it varies from place to place, depending on the amount of money that government invests in building that GIS. Sometimes you invest money because government generates a lot of money from it. Some governments, they don't invest, but they want to generate. So they want the GIS to give a target of 1 billion naira every month, but they cannot put 100 million naira to it. So this is the problem we have. And if you watch, you see that tech is changing every year. New things are coming up. The other day I was in Abuja, and one realtor, they marketed my property, and somebody came and said that he want to pay me. I said, okay, I brought my Zenith Bank account. They said no, that they pay in cryptocurrency. Yeah, they hear cryptocurrency online and all that. I've never taken time to go and be studying these things. I just see it as online something, so I don't trust it. If it is Zenith Bank, Ogui Road, where I keep my money, I go there and collect it. You understand? I know the manager, I know the account officer in Ogui Road. But when you now tell me that in my account is in the cloud, I just moved 350 million naira to the cloud. And there is in Binance. One day they will say the app shut down. So, but I lost that transaction. It was later that one guy said, that them in Lagos, that all of them have e-wallet too. That, yes, now, that people pay, they buy property from America, UK, and Canada. They just talk online, market them. They'll say, okay, how much in USDT? And they will now say, okay, you pay us an additional 20% for converting it to Naira, and so on. So they will just be there and pay you in cryptocurrency. I should have collected the money now. I told him I don't even have e-wallet. They say, okay, they create e-wallet for me. That's how they create the e-wallet too. But before that time, the guy, another person don't collect the money. Do you understand? So tech is always evolving over time, and that is how land administration that involves tech evolve over time. I visited land administration office in Maryland, USA. So they use Thomson Reuters franchise software called Momentum. So in US, 80% of the counties use that Momentum GIS software because of the cyber security firewall on it. Because now, just the way Yahoo people hack into people's accounts and thief money, that is how in advanced world, hackers hack into land administration and do land transaction, change title. You understand? Yeah. This one is not where you keep file inside office. So one staff where they work for file registry, come in the night, open office, carry the file, go remove one document, put another one. This one is online. Hackers will enter the portal, go to that file, change the title, and then go into the market, use that document because the system generates document. Use that document, defraud someone, the person pays them millions of dollars over that property. So when you now come to take possession, you now see that the real owner is in possession. Now say, this is my land. But when you start fighting over the land, when you go to the registry, see, your title has been changed, though, and you are not even aware. Then they will now start investigating. So it's also happening in different countries. I've been to New Zealand, Malaysia, Australia. So each country I go for conference on this land and poverty, I do my tour on their land administration. There are people that go for tour to their military hardware, their museum, their hospital, their university and all that. Me, I choose tour on land administration. I just go there, they will just be showing us how they do titling, how they do survey, how they register, because that is my own area. So I've seen like the land administration system of over 25 to 28 countries. And that was why when I became commissioner, the first thing I wanted to achieve was that GIS. But that is bygone now. We have moved forward. So next slide. So we have talked about land titling, but we have many types of land titling. We have the C of O, the deeds, the registered deeds, and the land registration. Okay, fine. The C of O is given to you by the state government, not by the person transferring land to you. Either you buy, if you buy land from a community, the state government will give you a C of O for 99 years, recognizing that you are occupying that land for the next 99 years. If that 99 years expires, it's subject to renewal. So whichever government is there as at that time will specify fees that will be paid for you to renew the C of O. So C of O is a certificate of occupancy given to you by a state government to recognize your presence on that land. So deeds. So all deeds are legal instruments for transfer of title from one person to the other. We have many types of deeds. We have deed of assignment, deed of lease, deed of conveyance, and then there are other deeds that are applied depending on the tenure of the land transfer. So, like I said earlier, having a deed where it is written and signed that this land is transferred to you is not the same with having a deed that is already registered and government have recognized it as a title. Okay? So deed and registered deed are two different things. Are we following? Yeah. If somebody asks you, okay, realtor, come and sell my property, where is your title document? He will give you a deed of lease. You check that stamp from land registry and the registration document at the back. If it is not stamped, Ministry of Land, Land Registry, registration number, it is not a registered deed. So the deed is still between that person, the buyer and the seller. The government have not recognized that transaction. It is not yet registered. So the government is not aware that that land is sold. Okay? So that's that person. The risk is that that person can still sell it to another person. If that person registers before you, your own is null and void. There's nothing you can do, even in court or police or anywhere. Okay? So that's why we have deeds and we have registered title deeds. That is legally recorded strong ownership proof. Okay? This one is an instrument that transfers land ownership. But this one is legally recorded strong ownership proof. So land registration, I've already explained it, is a public record where ownership and interest on land is recorded. Next slide. Okay, so we are going to discuss the importance of land titling. Some of those importance I've already mentioned it in the course of our discussion, but let's go over it again. It boosts, it secures property rights. So when you have registered title, it is security to your right over that land. Unregistered title is not secure. Anything can happen to your right, and somebody can contest your right in court. But if you have registered title, it means that government have recorded and recognized that this transaction has taken place. It boosts investment, okay? So if you're a developer and they said, what is your title? You say C of O, and they do a search and see that it's confirmed. It is easy for a buyer to have confidence to pay you, okay? But if you don't have such registered title, the confidence of the buyer will go down, and the buyer will be afraid whether his investment is secure. So that is why land titling boosts investment opportunities, encourages property development, access to credit and other facilities. If you want to get credit from bank or financial institutions, they will ask you for collateral. They will take only registered titles or C of O's. If not, they will not take it because the government does not recognize that title. So they will request registered title. And then when they get the title, they will put a deed of mortgage on the title so that the government will also take note that you have mortgaged the property to collect a loan. So land titling gives us efficient land use. It reduces fragmentation and promotes development. So land use in the quest to manage how people use land, for government to plan the city, determine what you build, where you build it, so that the city will look good, okay? So if you have proper record of who owns land, what is the size, what number of people owns land in this area, it will help you to better plan that area and then improve the livelihood of people there. So the challenges we have in land titling, just like we have in land administration, poor infrastructure, low awareness, just like you said now. Most of the things I'm saying, you were not aware before, right? Yes. So imagine you as your level, you are a realtor dealing on properties. Compare you with a villager in Nuike. He's selling land though, but he doesn't know these things. In fact, they are committing crime, but they don't know. They will collect money from you and say, hey, the land is here. Come and see it. It's fine land, table land. It is not that place they are selling to you. It's 1 kilometer away. They will show you. You agree, you will pay. So tomorrow when the surveyor comes, surveyor will now take you and start going inside. He'll show you. Then you come and disagree with them. They will say, okay, don't worry, we'll find a way. They will play. At the end, you don't have option. You accept it. So this is how they do, because of low awareness, both on their part as community people and on the part of buyers. There are some people in my community that went to do one business like this. So they locked them up. So they called me to come and bail them. I was talking to Commissioner of Police. They were there shouting, how can they say, our land? I told them that this land you are selling is acquired by government too. And you are resisting government, we know. But you don't have title and you are selling it. It's crime. Oh. Our police is releasing you just because they want to be putting human face to the matter. But you should stop collecting money from people and deceiving them and be said, because these community people, they don't know they are committing crime. And then some of these young realtors, they just say, okay, I guess street sense, street credibility. So they will go to those people because they know that they don't have knowledge of what they are doing. They will go and work with them without knowing that it is more dangerous to work with these people who don't even know what they are doing. But you are working with them because you take advantage of them because they don't know anything. But over time, you see that the trouble that they will cause you, because they will sell it to you. After 2 years, they will see that there's still bush there. They will go and sell it again, thinking that you have forgotten that you bought it. And also, because of their ignorance, they don't have any record where they record their transaction. So they cannot even remember whether they sold this plot or not and who they sold it to. Because when they sign document for you, they will give you all the documents. They don't keep copy. They don't have secretariat where they keep the copy or file it. So how are they going to remember? You see why it's more dangerous to deal with them? They will still sell the same land. And then you come there and jam somebody else. Just yesterday like this, I went to where I have land, Ogwofia, close to that new, where they are building new building material market along Onisha Express. One community inside. My land, 250 plots. They sold it to another developer. He fenced it just exactly the same place. And the same people that sold it to me sold it to the guy. And they were telling me, making it sound like a mistake, that there's one surveyor that came and said, my own starts from here. And they didn't know it starts, and they put one beacon, but later they didn't. They were just talking as if it is by mistake. And I asked them, how can you sell land here and you do another transaction here without letting me know? How can you put somebody here without defining my boundary on ground, making me to be aware? You went to do all these things behind me, and you are coming to tell me that it was by mistake. They now say, okay, you see, because come on, get so quick, I hear what God knows. Say, you mind your man knows. Oh, yeah, knows. Yes, I told them that it is better for you to go to him by yourself, confess your sins to him, that you have defrauded him, that that land belongs to me, and that you are going to take him to another place. If not, by the time I come there, that's yesterday. So I'm still preparing film. So that was yesterday, and I didn't even sleep. When I left that place, I was going back to my office. I was feeling that these people have driven away the Holy Spirit inside me. Because I was very, very bitter. Like I felt like slapping somebody. But they made it to look like 250 plots. It's not small land. I bought, as at that time, I bought 500,000 naira. Now they went to sell it 3 million to somebody. Thinking, how can you think that somebody like me is no longer in existence? Or even if I die, I still have brothers that will come for the land. So you see, they are dangerous to deal with. They know that I am a surveyor, but they know that they are encroaching on my interest. So they will not call me to come and survey it when they are selling it. because they know that I will not agree to survey that place. So they went to bring another surveyor. But before they bring another surveyor, they will remove all the beacons that I have put. So if that surveyor come, he will not see, he will think the land is, yes. So that is what we call low awareness. So they don't know what they are doing, but their local sense, that their local fraudulent sense, is what makes them to think that they are wise. Okay? But by the time I start dealing with them, because normally what I do is that when they do me that kind of thing, I'll do them something that anybody in Enugu who is involved in land, if he see my land, he will not enter it. I'll do them something, like remand them in prison, like drag them to court to remand them in prison, so that if they come out, maybe 6 months or 1 year later, they will not come near that land 1 meter. They will not near it. It's not like other people, they will say, go and take another. I know that they deliberately sold it because they needed money. But they are telling me, making it to look like a mistake. How can you make mistake of 250 plots? Are we following? Ownership details, we have talked about it. There are multiple conflicts in land, both in Enugu and in the southeast, unlike the northern part. Corruption, delays, tech barriers, which we have mentioned before. Go forward. I think we should be rounding up because, okay, fine. This is where we need to discuss now. So case study. I used a case study of Enugu Central City. So it's a land conflict, which I am part of it. I have been part of it from beginning, since 2009 to date. So I am in a better position to analyze the problem there. So what is the problem? The problem is that the people that, the developers that came into the business did not know these things. They don't know these things before they came into the business. Maybe in the process of these troubles they are passing through, they are getting to know it. Like this issue of community, issue of titling, issue of compulsory acquisition, issue of compensation, issue of this and that. They don't know how it works. That was why some of those mistakes were made. But there's one problem about land transaction. There's no mistake that can be erased. Every mistake you make, you cannot reverse it. So when you go to court, that mistake must play back again. Issue of date of acquisition. Sometimes they say it's hardly cinema that acquired it 1986. But Alice Cinema said that he's not the military administrator of Enugu at the time. So who acquired it? The survey plan, they say, is Meki Banugo, that was the surveyor general. But Meki Banugo retired in 1983 as the surveyor general. So how can he make acquisition survey in 1986? So who surveyed it? Where is there no surveyor general as at that time? Because there's no vacuum in government. Even if the most senior retires, the next in line will assume acting capacity until the substantive person is appointed. Okay, so the challenges. There is a public-private partnership. That's a partnership between the government and a private company to develop a smart city. Okay? The government acquired the land, but the people in government as at the time, the commissioner of land as at the time, they made mistakes in the process of the acquisition. The acquisition was not straightforward, and there are some inconsistencies in some documents and some dates that they claim some things were done. Okay, so the communities are cashing on those things to challenge the development in those areas. So see the key challenges. Compulsory acquisition. So the communities were displaced without their consent. Their land was acquired without their consent officially sought, and without adequate compensation. So that is the foundation of the problem. But as at the time it was done, the government as at the time was strong on the ground, driving the people, community away from the land. But immediately that government left, the community gained momentum and bounced back on the land. So you see, weak legal oversight. So there are certain legal frameworks that were ignored and overlooked. And now, those legal frameworks are now the subject matter in the court of law, because there are barrages of litigation, up to 7 pending litigation over that particular land in different courts. Okay? So the developers are selling land, and communities from their side are selling land. So there are areas the developers are in control of. There are areas that the communities are in control of. So they are always fighting from time to time. This is a mistake made in land acquisition, land administration, and titling. Even the survey, they were mistakes. And you see, a wonderful project like that is being brought down because of that mistake in land titling. Customary right of occupancy between versus statutory right of occupancy. Okay. The communities have statutory right of occupancy, have customary right of occupancy. The developer has statutory right of occupancy, which was given by state government. So the communities are still demonstrating their customary right of occupancy. The developer is demonstrating his. Now, where is the problem? The customary right of occupancy of the community was not terminated before issuing statutory right of occupancy to these people. The customary right of the community was not legally terminated. So there's a process of terminating that right. And you must issue a notice of that acquisition, serve them the notice, get their consent, their response, which means that the statutory, the customary right is terminated. Then before you can issue that right. So now, it is a double exercise of right, which is now before the law court, for the court to decide, for the court to give a legal interpretation of whose right of occupancy is subsisting. Okay? That's why you have this challenge on ground. So, what is the result? Public distrust. Okay? So anybody you say buy land in so place, they will say that there's problem. There's court case. There's problem. So that is the result of inefficient land administration, land acquisition, and land titling. You cannot issue a statutory right to someone when somebody is still holding a customary right over the same land, because you are issuing right to one person, and the community has about 1,000 men on ground. So anytime they enter, that one man cannot defeat them. So he only needs government to give him police. But there is an extent police can go. So as an estate dealer or realtor, who we expect that tomorrow you grow up to become a developer, you have to know these things, study these cases, and know why that problem is there, so that you don't fall into the same problem tomorrow. Next slide. So let's go to the next case study. So the second case study is, the first case study is a failed land acquisition. This one is a successful land administration, the Abuja Geographic Information System. So it was established 2005 during the administration of El-Rufai, when he was the FCT minister. So they first of all mapped the whole Abuja, set up a cadastral system for Abuja, and then set up a database administration system for people's parcels, brought them into a computer. Okay? So up till now, up to date, there is efficient land administration in Abuja. Even though there are people who do land fraud, there are also people who do sharp practices, forging documents and all those things. But those sharp practices are done inside that Abuja Geographic Information System because of the human beings that work there. People clone documents, people plant documents, but still, it reduces those problems to barest minimum. So if you are a land investor, you are a realtor, you are a land developer, estate developer, you know that if Abuja gives you a C of O, you can go there and develop. Nobody is going to cut with you. And no community will come and fight you. So the federal government terminated the customary rights of all the indigenous people in Abuja and have already agreed on compensation with them per hectare. In Abuja, is standard. If you are a developer, if government gives you 100 hectares, you go to the closest community chief, present their location. They have their lawyer, their surveyor, their everything. They will come and have meeting with you. They will charge you per hectare 5 million, 7 million. So when they calculate the money you are going to pay them, you put it in writing with them, you pay them maybe first installment, and you enter the land. They are not disputing the land though. It is the compensation that they are collecting from you. Government statutorily is supposed to pay them that money, but because government is not on ground to pay it, it is you that they see on their land that will pay it. So that's why it's easy in Abuja, and then the real estate market is moving and it's secure. If they say, okay, you put 3 billion, you are sure that no do, highest thing is highest. Some community people will come and you dash them 1 million that day, and then they will go. Next time you come, if you make them your friend, make them give them security. You call their leader, say, okay, you become the chief security of the estate. You pay them per month, and everything is okay. But in states like ours, where the land administration is still being managed, is still taking shape, you can buy a land and you find out that this land is totally belonging to another person who is having the title, or that two people are holding title over this land, and it's complicated. So I've given you an example of an effective land administration system, and we know that the Enugu State government have started implementing this geographic information system in Enugu. We also hope and believe that in a couple of years to come, considering what the state government is doing, that the GIS will improve our land administration, and some of the transactions we are doing on land will become more stable. But in the meantime, as realtors and people who are into this business, trying to make ends meet, feed your family, and then also move to the next level, you have to protect yourself with some of this information I've given you. I want to urge the Arible group to provide this lecture notes so that you can go home and study it further, compare it with the ones you have written down, and then equip yourself with this information so that you have information. As they say, that information is power. So information will help you to protect yourself and know when you are walking into a problem, and then be able to avert that problem. So I think I've come to the end of this lecture. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. I hope to see you some other time, and may God bless you.
You can keep clapping, please. Please clap, clap, clap. Clap. Oh. Amen. How many of us still want commission? Are you going to go after commission or after you want to do the right thing now? So that you will not have uniform in Old Park. Are you listening? See, I know you have lots of questions, so we're going to take just 3 questions. Because, I promised you something. I said, this is just the basic class for this our business stuff. We're going into the advanced level. Then you will hear some deeper things and you'll become more scared. Are you listening? We also have the mentorship class, which we are working on, and you will hear more things. I know now you will not, some of you think you are smart. Sometimes I'll be looking at you, you'll be doing markup. I hate that in markup. You see that in markup, I hate it. It will land people in trouble. If they say something is 100K, sell it at 100K. Let them pay to the person. Collect your commission. Contentment is the main thing. You see, contentment is the main thing. Somebody came here and was like, I have a client. The person is in US. The person wants to buy plots of land somewhere around Elim that he wants to put markup. The land was going for 10 million then, and he said he wants to sell it to the person at 15 million. See, Oga, I know they do this kind of thing. He said, your problem is that you carry Bible too much. I said, it's not a function of carrying Bible. It's a function of me trying to save you from trouble. I now asked a question. I said, if there is trouble tomorrow, do you have 5 million somewhere you will remit back? You see, that was where the problem comes from. No chop waiting, you know, fee pay. Did you get what I just said? No chop waiting, you know, fee pay. Be careful with that. We are taking this thing. I am in this industry for it started up in close to 10 years. And I'm taking my life small, small. We are not loud about it. We are not loud about it. The one I don't understand, I will ask questions. Did you get what I'm saying? Our people say, no nyajo adihe fuzo. Ask questions. There's no harm about asking questions. Now we're going to take 3 questions so that Prof will have to go. We have taken so much of his time today. In the advanced level, prepare, come. You go hear things. Your ear go full. I know some persons, your head now is doing what is happening in your head now. You are not understanding. Eh? So, number 1, I'm going to take 3 persons. We're going to take from the guys. We're going to take from the, okay, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, just 5. Please give him the mic.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Actually, I personally am not being scared, but I'm being armed. So, I want to know, in the area of knowing a legal document, because what is carrying there is that their documents can be duplicated. So, what are the yardsticks? What are the main things to look out for in terms of light titling? I don't know if you get my question. Okay, so I want to know the things to look out for to be able to differentiate the original and the duplicate. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Normally, nobody will hand you the original document unless the valuable consideration is paid for the land. So they normally give you a photocopy. So what you do with the photocopy is that you read it. There are things to look out for. Look out for the type of deed it is. Either is it a C of O? Like I told you guys, the C of O in Ogui and Asata, the old C of O in Ogui and Asata are 50-something years. They are not 99 years. It was later that Enugu State government started giving 99 years. And most of them have expired. So you look out for that tenure. How many years? And then if you know the date it was issued, you now know the residue of how many years that is remaining in that tenure. Then okay, that this deed is remaining 12 years to expire. And if it expires in your hand, you are going to bear the cost. Secondly, you look at the registration details, the date of the registration, the stamp of Ministry of Land, and so on and so forth. So in such document, to confirm the authenticity, you go to Ministry of Land and do a search. So there are two types of search, window search and legal search. Legal search is the one you write Ministry of Lands a letter and request for the search, and they will respond to you officially with their own letter. Window search is where you just give that paper to somebody there and tell him to just go and confirm this thing. But it's unofficial because there's no, it's word of the mouth that the person will respond to you. So the person will not give you any document. So you can't present it as a legal document. So it's only a search that will confirm the authenticity of the document. So if that document is not in the registry, the search will not show it. So the search will show the last name in which that document is registered. So once that search shows that the name on the document you have and the one in the registry are not the same thing, it means that the document is fake. Yes.
One more thing. No, please sit down. Okay. Please close.
Okay, good afternoon once again. Thank you, Prof, for the insight that you gave us. My question is this, for a property that is inherited from a parent and the parents are no more, how do one go about preparing the documents for that property?
Okay. When it comes to inheritance, sometimes it's complicated. They are done in two ways, or three ways. Number one, if the person, when he was alive, prepared a deed of conveyance to you. Some parents do it. Once they reach 70 years, they will share the properties and prepare deed, not will. Will is complicated, but when there's a deed prepared to your name, it's easier. You just register the deed. The second one is will. If the man wrote his will somewhere, this property will go to this person, this property will go to this person. Will still need a process of executing the will. Do you get it? Then the next one is that if the person dies without a will, where he mentioned that your name, that you are going to take this property, then you have to go and get letters of administration from the government. It's done in the government office. In the, what do they call it now? Probate. There's an office called probate. That's where they do it. So that letters of administration will come and make you an administrator. So you bring your birth certificate, bring your father's death certificate, where it will show, and your birth certificate shows that the father of this, that is the father of you, is this man. But in a circumstance where there are other wives and other children, it's normally complicated. Some will go to court. So if they put it in court, the probate will not do anything on the property until the court decides who owns it. But some people who are not quarreling, they can just decide, if there are 4 boys in this family, the 4 of them will go and do letter of administration. It will be in the name of 4 of them, so that they will have power to sell it or they will have power to transfer it. Okay? So it's either inheritance if the person is alive and gives you a deed of conveyance while he's alive, or the person wrote a will, handed it over to his lawyer before he died. In the absence of that will, it is now survival of the fittest. So if the family is in harmony, they can have a meeting and decide on how they will do their letter of administration. So letter of administration is what gives you power to be the administrator of the property of somebody who is late. Do you get it? That's what gives you power. So if the family is in peace, they can have their meeting and decide on how to do it. So when they do it, they now have power to transfer the property. But if they are not in harmony, they will go to court and be fighting each other. Whenever the court or their village people decide to harmonize, decide to share it for them. In some communities, they go to court and withdraw the case, take it to the Igwe or the eldest person who will do the out-of-court settlement, and then it will be. That is if everybody accepts it. If they don't accept it, somebody can take it higher and continue fighting. So in inheritance, I normally advise people. In fact, if your father is old, you have to start advising him. But don't do as if you want him to die fast so that you take this property. He will become afraid that you may even kill him. So you can start advising him to start taking this step, because ignorance, even the old man may not know anything. He may not know anything. And in present day, letters of administration are now given to women. The man can even actually do the deed in the name of the daughter. So nobody will. But if you throw it open to the community, the traditional rulers, they will recognize only the men and leave the women. Depending on how rich the man is. Thank you.
Okay. I have number. Who is number 3? Okay. Please, straight to the points.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for the great insights. Please, my question is, because whenever we sell our properties, we normally pay for deed of survey plan, which they will tell us that they are lifting is the money that will be used to lift the plan at the ministry. That one is for registration. So I'm confused now that maybe that survey plan we paid is not the registration you're talking about. That will still go ahead and do registration. And another one is in a situation whereby, because the property we get, they gave us a deed and it was not registered. And some of the deed will not carry date. And probably your dad have stayed and left. So how will we now know whether that property has exceeded 9 years when another person has now come to? Probably did not register it. So how do we tackle such property? Thank you very much.
Okay, for your first question, like if we go back to our lecture, you remember that I told you that before a title is registered, there has to be a survey plan that will unambiguously define the size of that land from point to point. That's why that survey plan is compulsory, that you get it. If you go to Ministry of Land to register that deed, if there's no survey plan attached to it, there's nothing showing that this land is 500 square meters. So are you registering the whole of Enugu or the whole of Unike? Okay? So that survey plan is what is defining exactly what the size of the land and the limit from beacon to beacon, what you are registering title over. And then the location where that land is located. That is the job of that survey plan. Without that survey plan, land cannot be registered. So that lifting is the first step of registration. When you have it, the Ministry of Land will now register your land for you. So for the second one, you know, like I told you guys earlier, most times when they sign this deed, they don't put date and they don't register it. And most people will go and keep it. So if it is that day when you come to register it that you put date, because if you don't put, let's say you bought this property 5 years ago and you come to register it, you are going to pay government for that 5 years. Yes, now, because that date when that thing was signed, that's when your 99 years start counting. So if you have kept an unregistered deed for 10 years, it's 89 years that is remaining. And you have not registered it, it's not in your name. 10 years have passed. Do you understand it? That's why people don't put date. It's when they want to register it, they will put date as if it is done today. It is done that date you want to register it. But the danger is that if that person said the same land to another person and he registered before you, there's nothing you can do. Do you get it? So that's why if you are doing land transaction with a lawyer, he will insist to put a date. He will not. Once he signs, he will put date beside the signature. He will not leave it without date. If he's a lawyer, he must put date. Or if it's somebody that is enlightened, educated, he must put a date. So that's why that date is important. So if you have documents that don't have date, you can go and put date, or you can make the application and submit it to Ministry of Lands. They will do assessment of your fees and give you. You will go with it. Whenever you have the money, you come and pay it. But the process have started, and your application has entered the system. A file has been created, and that file was created with a date. So no other action can be taken that will precede that your own. Even if you have not paid that fees, the file will be there. Even if it's 2 years later, it is that fee that I assessed 2 years ago that you pay. If you come today, you pay the fee of today. But if you have an assessment of fee given to you 2 years ago, it is that one that you are going to pay. So some of us that know the system, we have a way of, when you put their application, you leave the file there. Maybe they will tell you, like, if you are doing estate, like maybe 150 plus, 200 plus, they can give you 80 million, and you'll be paying it 10 million. 10 million. Maybe within 6 months you pay it, but the process has started, and nobody can supersede your own. Do you get it? So I think I've been able to treat your questions.
Okay, thank you, sir. In Enugu, the land measurement, 500 square meters. We have some plots that are 500 square meters, 464 square meters, 460 square meters. So I would like to know the one that is approved in Enugu that you can say, because I had a problem. A client was telling me that 464 square meters is not complete, and because of that, he didn't buy. So I'd like to know the actual square meters, and if all these square meters are complete, are full plots, as some will ask. Thank you.
Okay, so you recall I made mention of land use zoning. If you watch, you see that in GRA, you have lands of 5,000 square meters, 4,000 square meters, and so on. In Independence Layout, there's no plot less than 1,000 square meters. Have you noticed it? There are some that are 2,000 square meters. It's recently that people started subdividing their own, but the original master plan of Independence Layout, there's no plot less than 1,000 square meters. Now, the reason is that land use zoning. So this is a low-density residential area, Independence Layout, okay? Actually, layout is a high density, so you have 500 square meters, 560 square meters, 460 square meters in those areas. Ababa is a high density area. Places like Owani, It's a high density area. That's why you have 600 square meters in one. Okay? So there's no particular size that you say is land measurement. It is dependent on the zoning, the land use zoning. If you go to M&A industrial layout, it's 1 hectare. Even though recent, like if you go to Innocent factory is 1 plot in M&A industrial. So all M&A industrial is 1 hectare, 2 hectare, one, because it's made for factory. So it's an industrial layout. There's residential layout, but there is high density, medium density, and low density. So that is how it is. In Abuja, because Abuja land is becoming more scarce, so government is managing land better. So they've started creating terraces of 250 square meter, 350 square meter. And they'll give you title. They'll register it for you, title. 250 square meter in Abuja. You can build a terrace on 250 square meter and sell it. The person will get title. So there's no particular, if you go to Maitama and Asokoro, you'll be seeing 3,000, 2,000 square meters. But in newly developing areas, Abuja, they don't do that big size again. They have reduced it. And they will encourage people now to do 2 floors instead of doing 1 floor. Yes, so, and land use planning changes over time, depending on economic activities, population, and other things that happen in that area. Government can say, okay, since Enugu is, like for example, that new Enugu, I was the one that Coal City Eastern Extension was my brainchild when I was commissioner. Okay? It was called New Enugu, even though we didn't finish it. So the new administration continued it. So the purpose is to create another zone in Enugu for residential purpose, since the population is increasing. And now they are telling you a plot of land in Independence Layout, 400 million. So if we create a new Enugu, the price of those ones will, if you keep it 400 million for 2 years, if nobody buys it, if you see 200, you take. Do you understand? So that is the reason. If they create new zones, it will regulate the price and the economic activities of the other zones. So there is no specific size that you say that is the size of the land. It depends on the land use zoning. And the land use zoning can change from time to time. Government can come and say, okay, in Independence Layout now, because of population of Enugu, we can now register 500 square meters. Okay? So if you have 2,000 square meters, you divide it into 4. And then government will give you title. It will become 4 plots. You start selling it. Government can do it. And if they do it, people, you have more housing units and more population. But government decided, okay, let us expand the city towards the eastern side and gain more population. So that is the answer to your question. Thank you very much.
The last person. Okay. The last person, please.
Thank you for the incitement. My question is this. There's this property that we are marketing, and it has only power of attorney and survey plan. I'm like, is it really authentic? Secondly, there's this, can allocation be done, a property that has deed of assignment and the power of attorney with survey plan without survey plot number? What happens if such property doesn't have a plot number?
Okay. You say, first of all, you say a property that has survey plan and irrevocable power of attorney. Irrevocable power of attorney is not a title, I hope you know. That person was appointed as an attorney. It's just an attorney. The title is not transferred for any tenure. Are you following? You need to see, if it's community land, you need to see the deed of lease. And normally in Enugu, the standard lease in Enugu is 99 years between the person and the community. So the deed of lease is the title. If a land has only power of attorney, don't sell it. It doesn't have title. Power of attorney is not a title. The person is just an attorney of the real owner of the land. And the title will not change. So there is a limit. Have you heard of that principle of law that said delegantus not delega? A delegate cannot delegate. That is, that person's authority was delegated. So he cannot delegate. He cannot transfer title. He can only give that power of attorney. But he cannot transfer title because he's not the holder of the title. So if there is power of attorney, it means that the holder of title is somewhere. So let the person get the deed of assignment or deed of lease if it's a community land. So your second question is about, remind me, the one that doesn't have plot number. It means that it's not in a planned area. It's not in a registered layout. So whenever you see a plot number, it means that it's a recognized government registered layout. It's a recognized layout. So that plot number is a unique identifier of that plot in that layout. So if a land does not have plot number, it does not mean that it's not authentic. It can be authentic, but it means that it's a parcel of land located in an unplanned area. It's not a planned area. So I hope the answer is clear. Thank you.
Please, we'll be going for break right away. Then we'll be back for the last class for the day. So your break starts now in the next 15 minutes. So we should be back. Hope you enjoyed yourselves.